Hello everyone. So today let's study about watershed management. Watershed, also known as drainage basin or catchment area, it is defined as any surface area from which runoff resulting from rainfall is collected and drained through a common point. It describes an area of land that channels all the precipitation and runoff to a specific common point, which could be a river, lake, or ocean. The size of the watershed can vary widely from very small areas, that is few hectares, that drain into small pond streams to vast areas or hundreds of square kilometers that drain into large river or lakes. A watershed collects all the surface runoff, including rainfall, snow melt, and other precipitation, and direct it towards the common drainage point. Large watersheds can be divided into smaller sub-watersheds or catchments. Each sub-watershed functions as a smaller unit within the larger watershed, contributing to the overall drainage system. So this image illustrates the concept of watershed, which is an area of land where all the precipitation collects and drains into a common outlet such as river, bay, or other body of water. So over here you can see the key components. First is watershed divide, the high pointer ridges that separate one watershed from another. Rainfall on either side of the divide flows into different watersheds. Then comes the tributaries, smaller streams and rivers that flow into a larger main river within the watershed. These tributaries collect water from the land and contribute to the flow of the main river. Then there are certain processes which adds water to the watershed. Precipitation, it includes rain, snow that falls within the watershed boundaries. Precipitation is the primary source of water for the watershed. Runoff, water from precipitation that flows over the land surface towards streams and rivers. It can contribute to erosion and transport of sediments. Percolation, the process of water seeping into the ground and replenishing groundwater. This water infiltrates through the soil and porous rock to reach the aquifer. Then is groundwater or aquifer, underground layers of water-bearing rock or sediments that store groundwater. Groundwater feeds into streams and rivers, contributing to the base flow of water bodies in the watershed. Now, how water flow occurs? Now, precipitation is collected by the watershed and directed towards the main river through tributaries and runoff. The main river drains the collected water from the watershed, eventually leading into a larger water body such as a lake, sea, or ocean. Now, what is the importance? Watersheds are critical for collecting and providing fresh water for drinking, agriculture, and industry. Proper watershed management helps in controlling floods by managing the flow and storage of runoff. A drainage basin is the entire area of land that is drained by a river and all its tributaries. It includes the land where all the water from rainfall, snowmelt, and other sources collects and flows into a single river or lake. The boundaries of the drainage basin are defined by the watershed. A drainage basin is a region of land where all the water from rainfall, snowmelt, or other sources flows downhill into a specific body of water, such as a river, lake, dam, estuary, wetland, sea, or ocean. It acts like a funnel that collects and directs water into a waterway. So, like a funnel, the drainage basin channels all the water collected within its area into the main waterway. This helps manage and direct the flow of water through various streams and rivers. The boundary of a drainage basin is defined by the watershed. So this is a high area, land area such as ridge, hill or mountain that separates one drainage basin from another. The watershed acts as the dividing line where water will either flow into one drainage basin or another drainage basin. So it illustrates the drainage basin, which is a geographical area where all the precipitation collects and drains off into a common outlet. So first is the source. This is the origin or starting point of the river, typically located in higher elevations such as mountains or hills. Then drainage basin, the area of land where precipitation collects and drains into a single river or stream. It is bounded by a watershed. Watershed, the boundary that separates one drainage basin from another. It is typically a ridge or area of higher ground. Tributary, a smaller stream or river that flows into a larger one. Tributaries contribute additional water, sediment, and sometimes pollutants to the main river. River, the main watercourse into which tributaries flow. It carries water from the drainage basin to its mouth. Channel, the path through which the river flows. It is usually well defined and carries the water from the source to the mouth. Confluence, the point where two rivers or streams meet. This is often marked by a noticeable increase in water volume. Mouth, the end of the river where it flows into a larger body of water such as a sea, ocean or lake. So this image, it depicts natural flow of water within the drainage basin, showing how smaller streams and tributaries contributes to a larger river system, ultimately draining into a larger body of water. Why are watersheds important? Watersheds are crucial because they collect and channel all the surface water, like rainwater, snow melt, into larger bodies of water such as rivers, lakes, or oceans. Means everything that happens in a watershed affects the water quality and quantity downstream. All the water from the watershed flows downhill and eventually ends up in a large water bodies. Any activities in the upstream parts of the watershed, like construction, pollution, land use changes, can impact the water quality and ecosystem in the downstream areas. To protect and restore water quality, it is essential to consider the entire watershed. Actions taken upstream can affect water quality, so managing the whole watershed is crucial. Because everything that happens in a watershed affects the downstream areas, it is important to understand that changes in one part of the watershed can have ripple effects throughout the system. Everyone in a watershed contributes to the health of the downstream waters, making it a shared responsibility to protect and improve water quality. Forested watersheds are crucial for maintaining water quality and ecosystem health. Forested watersheds, they act like natural filters. Trees and vegetation absorb rainwater and slow down its movement through the soil, which helps to filter out pollutants and sediments before the water reaches larger water bodies. This process helps to maintain clean drinking water supplies. The root systems of the trees and plants help to bind soil together, preventing erosion. This stabilization reduces the amount of soil that gets washed into water bodies, which can otherwise lead to increased turbidity and degraded aquatic habitats. Forested watersheds provide a range of recreational and aesthetic benefits. They create natural landscapes for activities like hiking, bird watching, fishing, and contribute to the overall beauty of the environment. When natural vegetation is replaced by impervious surfaces such as roads, parking lots, rooftops, rainwater cannot be absorbed into the ground. Instead, it runs off quickly into the water bodies. This increased runoff can overwhelm drainage systems and lead to flooding. Rapid runoff can cause erosion, leading to the loss of soil and increased sedimentation in water bodies. This sediment can cloud the water and smother aquatic habitats and disrupt the natural balance of the aquatic ecosystems. Runoff from impervious surfaces often carries pollutants like oil, bacteria, nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus. These pollutants can degrade water quality, harm aquatic life, and impact human health. Increased runoff and pollution can destroy or alter habitats for wildlife, making it difficult for plants and animals to survive. This disruption can lead to decline in biodiversity and ecosystem health. Then forested areas provide natural cover and leaf litter that absorb rainwater and help in maintaining the soil structure. This process allows water to be filtered and released gradually into water bodies, which helps to maintain the water quality and reduce erosion. Impervious surfaces prevents water absorption, leading to rapid runoff that can cause erosion, pollution, habitat degradation. This not only impacts water bodies but also disrupts the overall ecological balance. What is watershed management? Now, watershed management is an integrated approach to managing and conserving both surface and groundwater resources within a specific watershed. So, how it can manage or conserve surface water sources, like involving the management of rivers, lakes, and streams to ensure that they are not overused or polluted. This can include activities like regulating water usage, controlling polluting sources, and maintaining natural flow regimes. Then groundwater, it focuses on the storage and recharge of groundwater supplies. Groundwater is replenished through natural processes like precipitation, infiltration. Effective management ensures sustainable extraction and prevents issues like over extraction and contamination. Prevention of runoff. Effective watershed management seeks to reduce the speed and volume of runoff water from precipitation. This can be achieved through various methods such as creating permeable surfaces, maintaining vegetation, and employing techniques to slow down and capture rainwater. Then storage and recharge of groundwater through percolation tanks. Percolation tanks are structures designed to collect and allow rainwater to slowly seep into the ground, increasing groundwater recharge. Recharge wells facilitate the direct infiltration of surface water into underground aquifers, helping to replenish the groundwater supplies. Then conservation and regeneration of natural resources. It includes protection and sustainable use of land, water, plants, and animals within the watershed. Conservation efforts might involve preventing deforestation, controlling soil erosion, and protecting wetlands. Then human resources. It involves managing human activities and resources to ensure that they do not negatively impact the watershed. This can include promoting sustainable agricultural practices, managing urban development, and engaging local communities in conservation efforts. Then judicious use. Watershed management aims for a balanced approach where resources are used in a way that meets current needs without compromising the ability of future generations in order to meet their needs. This involves careful planning and regulation to avoid overuse and degradation. Runoff from the rainwater or snow melt can carry various pollutants into lakes and rivers, significantly impacting the water quality and overall ecosystem health. So, watershed management is essential in controlling this pollution by identifying the pollution sources and recommending strategies for reduction or elimination. When rain or snow melt flows over the land surfaces, it can pick up pollutants from various sources. These pollutants may include nutrients, sediments, chemicals, bacteria, and all. Then watershed management involves assessing different sources of pollution within the watershed. This includes identifying where pollutants are coming from and how they are transported to water bodies. Management practices analyze how pollutants are moved by the runoff and how they interact further with the environment. This helps in understanding the pathways and impacts of pollution. New land development can increase the impervious surfaces and disrupt natural drainage patterns, leading to increased runoff and pollution. Developed areas. Runoff from the developed areas can contribute pollutants through stormwater runoff, which needs to be managed effectively to reduce its impact. Then agricultural activities. Farming practices need to be managed to prevent excess nutrient and sediment runoff, which can be addressed through conservation tillage, cover crops, and proper manure management. Household activities like proper lawn care practices, maintaining septic systems, managing car fluids. It plays a role in controlling pollution. Educating homeowners on these practices is vital for watershed health.